Yo, I'm such a sight to see, I turn a hater to a tourist. The way I order rose, I turn a waiter to a florist. Ferrari lifestyle, that mean I'm living fast. On the road to riches, you don't slow down, you give it gas. 25 is what they couldn't see us living past. We was broke, just wanted someone to give a cast. Obama on the wrist, presidential rollie. Beverly Hills copping, I ain't Axel Foley. I'm just
what is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. Before we get into this review, we talk about Creed's Millesime Imperial. I want to talk to you guys about an opportunity to get some free samples. A couple weeks ago, I made a sample shopping video about fragrances made in Bermuda by the House of Lily Bermuda. And there were a lot of emails and comments asking about this house and a lot of excitement about its offerings. Some of them were skeptical. So what the owner and perfumer, Isabelle Ramsey Braxton, has decided to do is to offer up some free samples to the first 25 of my subscribers who email her. There's going to be one request per address. So what you need to do is go on the website, the address which will be in the description. It's Bermuda-perfumery.com will be in the description and at the end of the video. Go on the website and find one or two of the fragrances that you're really interested in and email Isabelle at lilybermuda.com. Again, that email address will be in the description. You must mention my videos, Maximilian Must Know, when you email her, and you cannot ask for samples of jasmine or frangipani anymore, as those are being phased out and discontinued. The ones that I really like, guys, are Summers 32 North and my favorite, which was Southwater. So really good fragrances there, and I think you'll like those. Calypso and 64N are really good as well. So this is a really generous offer by a really generous perfumer and woman in Isabelle. Thank her, and both her and I believe that you guys are going to check these out, and you'll want full bottles, which at $65 for 100 ml are just great deals. And as of now, this is only open to the first 25 people who respond to her, so do that ASAP because these are beautiful, fresh, and bright scents that you folks need to get your nose on. Now, as far as the review today, we're talking about a very popular scent, one that has been reviewed probably on here well over 100 times, and is a fragrance on a multitude of top fragrance lists, both seasonally and all around scent. You know, we're talking about a fragrance from the House of Creed, and of course it is entitled Millesime Imperial. And you guys probably know by this point that I don't love reviewing scents that are already as discussed as this one is. I try to go for the rarer breeds in particular houses if I can. But I'm actually reviewing this one because I dismissed it at first. I didn't really get the hoopla. If I had to give it a 1 out of 10 about a year ago, it would have gotten a 3 out of, or a 4 for me, honestly. I found this a generic and boring scent, and I didn't get why so many of my favorite reviewers liked it as much as they did. So I revisited it. I got myself an ice-sized decant and really wore it a lot over the spring and summer. And my opinion changed enough to wind up buying a full bottle. But how much did my opinion of Millesime Imperial really change? Well, let's get into the review and find out. Now, I'm not going to be doing the Creed history that I do anytime I cover a house for the first time. This is the 4th scent that I own, a full bottle of from Creed. I've reviewed 3 others, Green Irish Tweed, Aventus, and Virgin Island Water. And with samples included, I have about 15 or 16 of their scents. And for me, it really is a mixed bag. Some blow me away. Some I can't believe ever commanded Creed prices. But if you want some brand history, check out the video that I did do on Green Irish Tweed, which is the first Creed scent that I reviewed. Now, as far as price goes, quickly, Creed raised their prices again, so that a 4-ounce bottle of their general Millesime releases now fetch $330, $15 up from my last review. Now, you can buy bottles as small as 1 ounce for $165, and bottles as big as 17 ounce for almost $700. But with tax, that 4-ounce bottle is going to run you close to $400. And folks, for me at least, there's not a scent in their library, maybe with the exception of a couple of the Royal exclusives that are worth that much money. It's insane. You look at other really high-end producers, Xerjoff, Amouage, by Killian, even a brand like Jovoy, who only charges $180 for their 100 ml bottles, and their presentations and boxes absolutely blow Creed out of the water. I really believe that with the latest price increases, they need to step up their packaging and bottle game. This flimsy cardboard box, honestly, is a little ridiculous. And the bottles are fine, but the atomizers shoot out way too much juice, and I think that sort of is a ploy to get us to buy more. The Royal exclusive flacons are beautiful, but at almost $700, they really should come with a blowjob and a steak. That's just my opinion. Now, thankfully for this particular scent and many other Creed scents, that gray market does exist, so you can pick up 4-ounce bottles for around $150 on Amazon, as well as on other fragrance discount sites. But guys, just please make sure that they're reputable, and check your box and bottle to make sure you didn't get a fake. A couple ways to check, just real easy, is you want to make sure that this is pretty detailed and centered, the cap. Let me see if I can get it focused. Yeah, you want that to be detailed and centered. You want Creed to be printed nicely on the top of the atomizer. You want that white ring around there, guys. That's a dead giveaway if that's not there. You want a batch code that matches the one in the sticker of your box. You can sort of see that, right? So you want that, and you want that death spray. You want it so when you spray it, if it's just giving you a regular pump, chances are you got scammed. You want it to shoot out a lot of juice. Well, maybe you don't want it to do that, but that's what it should do. As far as your box goes, you want it to be sturdy cardboard, and you want to make sure the Creed embossing is kind of detailed. And you just want to give it a look to see if anything looks funny, anything looks funky, or anything's misspelled. And if it is, you know, get your money back. But you can go to Amazon usually and get your Creed, and if the seller is Amazon, 99% of the time, in my opinion at least, you're not going to have any problems. That's just been my experience. I've never had a problem with getting a fragrance right from Amazon. Now, Millesime Imperial is a unisex marine citrus scent that it's meant to evoke the feelings of being on the Sicilian coastline. Creed claims that it's a fragrance that actors and musicians typically wear to award shows, which is just such ridiculous advertising. I'm not going to comment on it. The notes on this fragrance are going to be crisp fruit notes and sea salt at the top, Sicilian lemon, bergamot, mandarin, and Florentine iris in the middle, and musk and woodsy marine notes in its base. Olivier Creed was the perfume for this scent. So you look at this fragrance and the notes, and you're thinking, what's the big deal, right? Citrus, sea salt, musk, woods, yawn, right? But there is a catch that might catch you, and it caught me, and I really didn't get it for a long time. See, guys, with citrus scents, the opening is extremely important because the citrus doesn't last long. So if the opening doesn't really grab your attention, most buyers who test out fragrances probably aren't going to stick around for the middle and the finish. And just so many citrus scents are done poorly, or not even poorly, but just mediocre. Hundreds, if not thousands of them, I can probably count on 10 fingers, the fragrances that really blow you away with the citrus opening. Some of the Xerjoff scents, Allure de Chamblanche, Pulp by Byredo, and there's some more. But Millesime is one of those scents. I always felt that even when I didn't love the fragrance, you just get this beautiful, magical, sweet fruit vibe with sea salt. There are regions in Italy, like Amalfi, where the lemons actually do grow to the size of watermelons. And those lemons taste very different. They're much more intense in fragrance. So I think a lot of people smell this scent and think they're getting watermelon. And I can see why. It does smell like watermelon. But I think it really is just a few different sort of sweeter citruses blending. And that salt comes in and complements the fruit in an absolutely beautiful manner. The opening is stunning. In the summer, it's like a glass of ice-cold Poland Spring after a long run in the humidity or jumping into a pool. It's awesome. The middle and the base smell musty to me. Frunkinator brought up that point, and I couldn't agree more. Not musky, musty, sort of old and stale. And that to me is problematic because obviously the base and mid last longer than the opening. There's no ambergris listed in this scent, which I feel is Creed's secret weapon. The scents that don't use ambergris for the most part, there are exceptions, but for the most part, those scents suffer. They don't have the consistent freshness that the scents that do have the ambergris have. It's just a backing that the fragrances need. The same way that a steak needs salt and pepper before you sear it, the Creed fragrances need the ambergris. A steak without seasoning might taste good for a couple of bites if it's got a good char and if it's perfectly medium rare. But it's going to get boring really quickly. And so I think that's what happens here. I'm really not sure what evokes the mustiness, but I think that the ambergris might have been able to keep that away. Now with that said, this is still a good fragrance. It has its clones. Unbelievable by Sean John, Love and Luck by Ed Hardy. Some people say Wall Street by Bond No. 9, and I don't think any of those are as good as Millesime Imperial. Unbelievable just smells too synthetic, and the Bond, while a very good scent on its own, is just very different. I do like this scent for the opening, and the first 2 hours are good enough to me to deal with its restrictions, because on my skin at least, the projection and longevity aren't really great, especially at this price point. I find that to be unacceptable. This totally could be a unisex scent, but Creed does consider it part of their gentleman collection, along with Aventus, Green Irish Tweed, and Original Vetiver. Although on their site it is listed in the unisex category. I'm going to be getting Original Vetiver soon because I really do enjoy that scent quite a bit. For me, this is a 6 out of 10, guys. It's a really, really nice scent, but at its price point, it's certainly not a must-buy. There are other scents in the Creed catalog that are better. Aventus is one. Green Irish Tweed is another. I like Virgin Island Water better. There's people that like Arolfa better. If you're a collector who's into Creed scents, pick this up. You probably should have this one, as you're going to get compliments from it. And the designer imposters, for those with a discernible eye, just don't compare. As I said, Unbelievable by Sean John's Too Synthetic. I don't think that Love and Luck smell similar at all to me. Some do, I don't. And what makes this so good and so not duplicated is that sea salt note. It's just a great way to get people to think of the ocean. And that's obviously because the ocean has salt in it. So when you combine crisp citrus with sea salt, you're obviously going to think ocean. And obviously people here have very positive kind of connections with the ocean, people in general. We've seen a ton of other perfumers use this trick to compose ocean and aquatic scents. And while this is no way the best, there are few others better. This is unoriginal, if not the original, that does that. And for that fact alone, you have to respect the architect. I've grown to really respect the fragrances that Creed has made, and if nothing else for the fact that they just do fresh and clean scents better than any other house. There's also a lot that I don't like. I think that they make things up in their history. I think the packaging is stale and cheap. My mother wasn't treated well at the boutique when she went there, which bothers me quite a bit because Louis and the staff seemed so nice. It wasn't Louis or Roddy that my mother interacted with. And I think that there is an arrogance in their pricing that turns average consumers off. Their latest release, Royal Oud, is $345 for 75 ml. And I'm not even sure if there's oud in that fragrance. But the reason that I keep coming back is because their quality scents are really well done, and while you can find cheap copies, as we've talked about, Unbelievable and Fresco and Cool Water and Set Sail St. Bart's, to me they don't compare to the originals, and those who tell you that they will or that they do, in my opinion, either haven't smelled enough fragrances to ascertain that quality, or they're just wrong. That's my opinion, obviously. So bottom line is I like this one 6 out of 10, but if someone came to me and said they saved up for a while and wanted to purchase their first Creed scent, would not recommend this one. Building a collection or just love citrus aquatic fragrances, check it out and decide whether you want it or not. Try the competition as well, because maybe to your nose it won't be that much different. Anyway, that is this week's episode. This will also probably be the last hot weather scent we're going to be doing till next year. Coming up in the fall, September, October, November, December. Just stay tuned for a lot of darker scents, stuff by houses like Mancera, and maybe a Phaedon and Christian Dior Private Blend, but they're all going to be darker scents. We're sort of done with the lighter scents for this year, so stay tuned for those. Next week, we should have 3 videos coming up. We should have sample shopping. We should have part 5 of the collection. Then there'll be at least one more, part 6. I'm going to try to film part 5 tonight, and that'll be up hopefully midweek, as will sample shopping. And then next Sunday, we're going to be looking at a fragrance from next week we're going to be looking at a designer fragrance that's a really good fragrance for fall and winter, and after that we'll be looking at a fragrance from the Private Blend Christian Dior series, so stay tuned for that. So 3 videos next week, and darker scents coming up. Stay tuned also for a starting lineup for fall coming not too far, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Maximilian, and I'm
Yeah, Ferrari lifestyle, got my daughter iced out. Every time she turn her head, beams from a lighthouse. Now them haters wiped out, cause my spider piped out. Tell them Lamborghinis and Astons, lights out.